All right, looks like streaming's on. Let's start working on this. So the project that I'm working on right now, which actually I should double check that we're streaming. Yeah, it looks like it. Cool. Um, what I'm working on right now is I have the mechanic. So there's a couple stages of this one, which right now I got the mechanic object in. I can tell where it is on the map. Let's see, what information did I leave off with? Okay, so over here, last time I added the mechanic location, which is right here. I just added one of them. Ideally, there will be 6. Um, and then we need a visual model. That one's done. Mechanic shows up on the world map, symbol with symbol marker. There it is on the world map. So just to show, if you can see the little pink dots, when I'm closer, they're closer to the car. But if I point, then you can see from the center of the car towards that, then it shows me the exact thing. Um, if I head farther away, then you see the item moves farther away. That's the world map. But again, I point towards it, and that leads me off towards the direction of it. And the little gray dots, that's all the traffic going on over here. You can see all the cars. They'll show up normally, and they will be more dispersed, but right now that's the only traffic paths that I have. All right, next. Mechanic shows up in the world map with symbol marker. Yes, that's in there. Mechanic shows up during race, so no exclusions during the race. You can still see where the mechanics are. Okay, next. Inside, split car action into freight and race actions. This is where I left off. I was in the middle of taking care of that. So let's stop the code. Effectively, I needed to make sure that it still worked because I'm changing part of the architecture since one of the classes is getting larger and more complex. So drop-off point is not what I wanted. Car action is what I wanted. All right, so car action used to handle all the freight interactions and all of the race interactions, but now I have freight action and race action that are now children of this. So those settings are stored. Now the functions I need to start splitting out as well. Right now, the on action click gets handled purely by this code, by car action. Now, what I need to do is start handing it off, and I'm going to hand it off in order until something says that it can deal with it or ignore it. So in this case, first off, if we are paused, then there's nothing that this should be reacting to. So the input action, the action key is still what gets us through menus as well. So first thing is we cancel it. Second thing, we're going to say if this dot, what is it? Freight settings. Technically, it's not, I guess freight settings is not necessarily the best word here, but it's the freight action. I could just call it freight. Let's do that. Apply renaming, and yes, put in the serialization, formerly serialized as. I'll keep that on there for a minute. And the other one is race. Okay. By keeping the old names, that'll let all the fields that are inside of this carry over its serialization. But then once I save this again, where it saves the changes, it saves the object again, then I can get rid of these because I don't need them anymore, but I do need them now. All right, now inside of here, we're going to start using this. If freight dot try action, try action. So if freight dot try action, then return. So if it returns true, it tried the action and it did the action. Now we're going to do the same thing with race. If this dot race dot try action, return. All right. Now, if this dot, I need to create another one in here anyway. So the one that I'm leading towards, I'll just get that one started for now, and that is the mechanic. So I'm going to create a new one in here. All right, this one is freight action. We're going to call it mechanic action. It's kind of interesting when the domain name of mechanic starts to cross over. And so we end up with mechanic seems to imply the domain logic of games for this is game mechanics, something to do with managing that, versus a literal mechanic in the game. But I'm going to trust that it's understood. I don't have anything that's diving in that meta into the term mechanic. Okay, but will need the functions there, so let's take care of it. If this, one more spot that needs to be up here, public mechanic action, and we're going to call that mechanic. There. So if this dot mechanic dot try action return. Okay, so each one will try an action, and if I need to, I could store common information between, but so far it's literally just an action key. However, common ones might check for other things nearby that I could reuse. So we'll see. I don't think I need anything like that right now. Okay, if freight.try action, Alt Enter, generate method. If race.try action, create method. Public bool, yes, all those are active. And if mechanic try action, so we're giving them all a chance in order, but then we are escaping right away if it doesn't work. So first thing we need to know is whether or not we have freight. So let's move this down there. Freight dot has freight. Control X. That is now going to move down to here. And it's no longer freight dot freight because we are in freight. Oh, wrong one. Freight action. There we go. Excellent. So we've got the variable in there now. Now, what is this? If we have a freight action, instead of that, I'm going to do an early exit. So Control X, and I can just say, where's this one? If not freight, so if we don't have freight referenced, then, oh yeah, then we return. No, if we don't have freight, we still might have something to do. Okay, so yeah, if freight, perfect. Now we're going to get rid of the extra freight term that shows up all over the place. And what have we got? Transform, this dot transform dot position. This is a sub object. We no longer have the game object or transform for where we are. That information does need to be carried over. So I'm going to put in a transform here. Transform, transform. All right. We'll use that. We'll get rid of the freight call out there, freight call out there, freight call out there, and there, and there. Okay, that takes care of part of this. So if we have freight, then we're going to do this stuff, which is, what are we doing? Yeah, if we have freight, we want to get rid of the freight. The action key drops the freight. It either drops it, or if we are close enough to a drop-off point, then the drop-off point gets it. Okay, so that code seems valid right now. What else are we missing inside of here? The else statement. I'm going to move it over here, Control-C. There. Get rid of the extra freight calls. This one wants to know, oh yeah, if it's not freight, then we need to return. So Control X, and this will return false, that the freight did nothing. Now in this case, so if we have freight, we drop it off. Now, if we don't have freight, so in this one, what are we trying to find? Yeah, if there was no freight to grab, then we ignore it. That means there's no freight in range. So the cargo, we're not going to pick it up. Okay, so we return false. Otherwise, we're returning true. If we have not returned false at this condition, so basically we have no freight, so we go to the else statement. And at this point, we try to grab freight from find the closest freight available to us. And if that returns nothing still, then we return false. Okay. Set to follower this car. So I need more information then. In that case, I should probably have the car pass through and get the car transform. What is this one? Find the closest, and it uses drop off point. We find the closest one to the freight. We want the freight to be dropped off near it. I guess the car. It should be the car that it's closest to. Whatever. Minor difference. I'll leave it. But we need the car and we need the transform. I can get the transform from the car, so I will pass in the car instead. So this one needs the car. Car. All right. So we're going to do car.transform. Car.transform, and over here it wants the lowercase car. Okay, that should check everything. What is this? We get to the... Oh, yeah. Return true. There. That should close out the try action for the freight. Now we need to put in the race action, which that is up here. Control X. Yes, we'll grab that. Now, the try action for the race, we're going to do this. Control V. Let's get rid of things that we don't need. You can get rid of race. We can get rid of this one. So, excellent. Car race, we have reference to it. We'll be obtaining a reference and placing it into the race action. What else? This now has more to do. So, if we show this, then we're going to return true. We handled it because we can start the race. All right. Excellent. Return true. Else. And if we're outside of it, there is no else. It's just return false. Okay. Whose setting can start equals true? All right. Well, anyway, let's go over to the actions in here. I can get rid of most of this stuff because most of it's not even happening in here anymore. This wants to know the car. So this dot car. All right. Ow. My shoe is way too tight. Or I've got a fold in the tongue of my shoe. That's a little better. That's still pretty tight. I just have like a lace pressure that's bugging my shoe at the moment. All right, take this, take that. Oh, one of my laces was actually tucked in to my shoe. Part of my lace, that's better. Okay. That should work. The only thing that I try action. So in this case, I'll just return false for now. It doesn't matter if this actually does anything, or just return false for the moment. We'll be upgrading that. Okay. That theoretically should work now. Let's go try it. Play. Is it gonna play? Recompiling. At least it decided to. All right. Are you ready? I thought you were recompiling to play. All right, thank you. Now enter. Here we are. Okay, so over here, hit action, nothing happens, as expected. Let's see, I've got a truck this way, 2 trucks this way. I'll take that one. Right. There's a modification to the physics system that I want to do, which will make it a much smoother interaction between these items. So right now, okay, I was able to grab the freight. So that tells me the action key is working for this. Let's take it over to the drop-off point. Let's miss you. Oh, I've got more freight over there too. All right, so drop-off point right here. Good. It's still not collecting it. It's weird. I wonder why. I think it has a timer. Does it try to pull it in and then only check to see if it's close enough at the time and then already lose its state? Anyway, I do have a bug with that, but that appears to be different. The other one is, what was the other one? The race. So I need to get to the race. Okay, action for race start begins. There. Okay. And action key again. Okay, everything is working. Now, if I hit escape, that brings up the pause. I can hit escape again to get out of it. Okay. Cancel and action don't get me out of this one. I feel like action key should also get me out of pause. I'll change that, but minor. I can add that one later. All right, all the action functionality still works. That's exactly what I was looking for at this point. Save it all. Let's make sure I have it committed. Git git commit -m. Let's see. What was this one? Car action is completely split to what was it? Drive action? No. Race action and freight action. Okay, this splits out the complexity, so that class is much smaller, and how I need to go through and step through all that code to figure out where can I inject other pieces doesn't really matter anymore. All right, and git push. Now, what's the next step? Where's the code? There. Okay, so split the car action into freight. That one's done. So that is here and okay, the next one. When pressing action near it, it raises the mechanic UI. So now I need the mechanic UI to appear. So let's see. I think I already created the mechanic UI. Pretty basic, empty-ish thing. But do I already have the code? No, I do not. So I'm going to create it. Let's do that. Create empty. UI mechanic. And over here, we're adding a UI document. What? Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, just select the same panel settings from the other one. All right, now I have in here none visual tree asset. This one, let's expand it out. Do I have a mechanic UI? I do. Excellent, which is now added itself to the list of of UIs showing up at the beginning. Okay, sort order. I don't care right now. Next, I need a mechanic Okay, mechanic shop system, mechanic menu. That would be it. Now it needs the UI document. Done. It needs the car, which will be our car. Done. We need the action input. This one is, oh, cancel. And we need the action input, which is action. There. Okay, that sets this one up. I'm going to trust that I finished that one, at least as far as I need to. It doesn't do anything yet. It just has the menu up. Now I do need to make it show. So that is available through mechanic menu. How do I have this one identified? That's not iPause. Mechanic menu. There we go. Okay, I just have it set up without an interface. I just have it being called as mechanic menu being set in here. So next, the mechanic shop, was that it? No, car action, mechanic action, this one. So we need to check, are we close enough to a mechanic? So in that case, let's find the closest mechanic. Do I have a mechanic system? Because I need to be able to tell which one I'm closest to. So, well, in this case, I don't really need one as much. No, I still need to know it. What else do I have in here that's mechanic based? Mechanic. So we have mechanic shop system. I have a system. Okay, inside of there, I have find the closest. So the mechanic shops do get registered. That part was done. Good. Now I need to find the closest one. So we're not going to return false yet. That's if we get to the end and we haven't done anything, then we'll return false. Now we need to find the closest action, so closest mechanic. So in this case, if this also needs to know, we wouldn't have executed this if we were in a pause state, which means a menu is already up. And we wouldn't have executed this if any of the other actions were there. It's safe to just execute this without actually checking and validating. The only validation we need is the logical action. Are we close to a mechanic shop? So in this case, let's find it. We're going to say var shop equals, I need the locator system. Let's obtain this. So this one is going to be public mechanic shop shopple. Now let's obtain this up in the start function. Let's do this in the awake. Awake is fine for this. Okay. Now I need locator dot get, no, dot observe, mechanic shop, and in here ms this dot mechanic dot shop equals ms. There. So by the time we get to before any of the start functionalities are there, then we will already have the mechanic shops. It's not the mechanic shop. It's not. No, it's the mechanic system. Mechanic shop system. Which means that should be the same thing on the other side, which that will complain. I'm going to call this system. Okay, that gives us the information we need. Let's go back over into this one, which this will be system, and that will be shop system. Done. Okay. System shop. This case is where I'm getting the shop, and I get it from the system. So system dot. I don't like that. This dot system dot shops dot closest. Find closest. There we go. And it needs a transform of where we are. In order to get that information, I'm going to need to know our position information. So let's pass in the transform. Transform. And that needs to be a capital T. Okay, this one is transform.position. Next, what do we have? Mechanic try action. Oh yeah, it needs a transform. So this dot transform there. There we get the position. Now we need to find out how close it is. Are we close enough? All right, that we detect by getting a variable set in here. Public float action radius equals, let's go with 20. No, 10. Keep it closer. All right, within 10 meters of the mechanic shop, and then you can see the mechanic, and then you can press the button and get it to react. Okay. So var shop this system.find closest. Now inside of here we find the closest if trans vector3 dot distance, and that one is, so if vector3 dot distance, what is it, transform dot position comma shop dot transform dot position. So we're getting the distance between us and the closest. You know what, I'm going to put an output on this because I'm already evaluating the information that I need in the function beforehand. So let's do that. Let's go F12. I'm going to put an out, comma out, float distance. Okay, so in this one, we're checking by distance squared. And now once we do that, we return the shop's index. So we're finding the closest, but we also need the distance squared. So in this one, I need the square root, that we're going to say distance equals math f dot square root distance squared. Some message came in. Let's find out what's going on. Get what? Oh, yeah, go ahead and get it. Cool. Okay, so now that's going to give us an output distance. So now let's go comma out float distance. Great. So now in this one, if distance is greater than action radius, not greater than, less than, if the distance is less than action radius. And yes, I know that is not equal to the action radius, which means we could be at the action radius and still not qualify, but we're talking about like a fraction of a nanometer, which is not going to be detectable by the player. Okay, so in this case, if we are within the radius, no, if we are less than the radius, if we are greater than the radius, the action radius, then we are going to return false because we are not handling this. Otherwise, we are. And in this case, I need the menu UI to show up. Now, to get this part to work, I need the menu. So let's find the menu. Over here, what is IP? That's pause. Now, otherwise, I need the menu UI to show up because we press the action inside of it. This is going to be somewhat uncommon. Why do I feel like there was a lot more? Oh, Car Race was handling a lot of the UI stuff before. Technically, a lot more of that could be handed off to Car Action now. But that Car Action only handles the distribution where it basically tells it to go do it. So what is it? Car Action. On Car Action, yeah, we pass that off to the Car Race to now take care of. In the mechanics system, I really just need the UI to take over, and it'll be the next task that does more. Okay, so now at this point, we have a shop. So I need the UI to show up, and I need to pass the shop information into it. Mechanic shop system. Oh, that's no longer happy. That's going to be out float distance. There. Now that one's happy. Mechanic shop system. I have that as an I. Oh, am I not getting this as the right one? Yeah, I am not. That should be iMechanic shop system. And that means that down here in this one, this needs to be an iMechanic shop system. Does that give me everything? Yeah, it still gives me the functions that I need. That works. All right, the last thing that I need is now the menu. How did I handle the menu in here? I go to carrace.start. Okay, that's because I had a third party, another class object. In the mechanic definitely needs code to deal with being a mechanic. So do I have something to deal with that? Mechanic menu. That's it right there. Okay. Mechanic menu. Where'd you go? Oh yeah, right here, mechanic menu. And inside of this one, we have, how do we reference this? We're setting it in the locator. So now we're going to get the same information this way too. All right, so here's the mechanic. We're going to create public mechanic menu. Okay, so at this point, we just say menu dot, and we're going to trust that it's there. And what do we say? Show UI. Now it should get the mechanic menu wants the race start. I've got a typo in there. Oh yeah, I'm still using some of the old code. So race start, where's that? Show UI wants the race start. This is no longer the race start. This is the mechanic shop. I don't even need to know the mechanic shop. I just need to know that we entered it. Yeah, I don't need to know what mechanic shop we were in. All right, show UI no longer needs anything. So I can get rid of these things. We just show the UI. Which also means, yeah, menu.show UI, that now does exactly what it needs to do. Okay, now at this point we're done. Return true, because we actually did what we used the action. Okay, and it's up to this one. The show UI pauses the game, which is what effectively tells this system to not bother checking anything. Okay, if that's the case, the UI should show up, and the UI should also go away. So let's check to see if I've got this all done. Enter unsupported change. Yes, please recompile. Error, there is no argument that corresponds with distance. Is that still accurate? I've got an error in here. Oh, I don't like this about hot reload. I get an error that shows up. I don't actually know, is this in my code? Normally I would just clear. It is in my code. Yay. Okay, so find closest. Shop system. The map view. Oh, the map view's finding it. Okay, so in this one, we're just going to say out float distance. Okay, cool. Do I use the distance in here anywhere? I do not. All right. Excellent. We're going to take that one, save it. Back to the game. That should clear this one up after it builds. All right, that looks like it's happy. Excellent. And now, was it Control P to play? I almost never use the hotkey Control P to play. I feel like it should be a one-button hotkey. Like, do we use P for anything else? Anyway, or use F5. I don't think it uses F5 for anything else. Use F5 to play. That we use it for Visual Studio. We use it in Rider for that. It refreshes the page. Yeah, in the browser, I think it's reasonable to count it. If I could, I suppose I could control that hotkey and take it over. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Test this. the action needs to bring up thread was being aborted. That is the, okay, we need to be in range of this. What is this one? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. So that's in car action. Find closest. This is indicating that maybe there is nothing. So we would have returned nothing, which means we would have had no transform that we could have obtained from this. All right. So let's check the mechanic. Does the mechanic object, let's go into the scene view. Mechanic object, that's this thing. It has a mechanic shop. The mechanic shop over here, when it first starts, we get the iMechanic shop system and we register this. We register. Hey, maybe it was the other part of it. Okay, let's go back to the code for a second. Or to the game. I want to double check the state of things. All right, maybe. Start. Okay, we'll go to start. Now we'll go to scene. We got the object selected. Now we need the system for the mechanic shop. So in here, it does have one shop in it. I click it, and that refers to this, which is this object. That's what I wanted. All right, so we have the mechanic shop. It selected that part. But when I actually try to run the action next to it, it's unable to get it. Okay, so this command ran. The mechanic shop has been added to the mechanic shop system. Now, car action at the beginning, let's check this one. So car action, mechanic action gets the mechanic system, the menu. I never set the menu. Mechanic menu, and mechanic menu is never acquired. Okay, that must have been it. Locator.observe mechanic menu. And this is this.mechanic.menu equals Okay, that sets it. Now let's go back to the code. Did I get a complaint on this one? Close enough. Let's actually try this out. Go back into the game view. Are we close enough? Now we are. What's that distance? That was way too close. It says close enough at 10 meters. I have a separate one on there. So, okay, if I go over to the car itself, where is that one? The race car is what sets the distance on this. Not close enough. I'm not using that field. Okay. So car, and then car action. Where's car action? Okay, there's car. Car action now breaks up into these other fields. Got it. So car action has a mechanic radius, an action radius of 10. Am I getting the square root of 10? And I have to be in under 1 meter for it to solve. That's why I have to like smash into the side of it for it to count. I thought I had the squared distance, which when I try to get the square root of that, that should give me the lower number. All right, but anyway, let's go check this one. Car action. Line 63 is where it's failing. Bull try action? This doesn't seem right. Why line 60? Wait, what was it? Car action, line 63. So this is car action, and it is line 63 is this one. Why would I get a Boolean error, or what is it, null ref? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Did it? What? Something's okay. I'm getting a weird error in this one, so at this point, I'm starting to assume that it is the fault of hot reload. So now let's do a recompile. Just tell it to recompile. And while that's recompiling, I have messages coming in. Ooh, those. Skip. There. Cool. So now what do we have? Mechanic? All right, everything is rebuilt. Let's play again. So the problem I'm facing right now is that the mechanic shop, it's not actually responding. I'm expecting the UI to appear. So enter, nothing happens. There. Okay, it appeared. And enter. So I definitely still do have an issue going on with the distance here. Wait a minute. I just exited out of it. The game is still paused. Escape. What? Escape. The game state is still paused. What's going on there? That one is happening over in mechanic shop. No. We go to the menu. So car action over on this one, we tell it to show the UI, F12. So here we show the UI. And on this one, we say if the UI is open, wait a minute, what is this? If the UI is not open, then we have nothing to do when we press it. But then over here, we're also checking to see if the UI is open, then we have this else state. That else state shouldn't actually happen. So something else is what's going to activate us. So only if it's, we don't even need an if statement here. Okay, I don't need these ones to be in there, but I do want to fix that distance issue that I'm getting. Okay, in that case, let's store the distance that we are at. So I'm going to say public float actual distance equals 0. So we out the actual distance, and in either case, I'm just going to say, oh, I'll just put this as lowercase, out distance. There. So now we're using that one, we get the distance, and we store it up here, so we're actually just setting it to that variable. Oh, let's try it out, because I need to see that distance. Play. Okay, that's based off of car and where's this one? Oh, we got car over here. Mechanic. Hey, why isn't distance showing up in here? We've got the action distance, but then over here we've got distance, public float distance. Public float distance should show up. Why are you saying that you've got everything in here? Recompile. Mechanic right here should have just a simple distance. This is on car action. Was that part of car action? Yeah, car action has a sub mechanic. Hot reload said it was happy. There were no errors, no complaints, but it didn't show the fields. It's not always capturing everything, and I don't know why. It doesn't save me time. Okay, I'm going to turn off hot reload and remove it from the project for now. Because while I'm sure it's saving me time in certain cases, I don't trust the state of my code when it's running. All right, so I'm going to try getting rid of it. Where is that one? I just want to make sure that it's no longer in here. It's off. Settings, we should return. Oh, what is this? Well, yeah, okay. I don't expect that one to be on right now. So now packages, my assets, no. So all packages, and this will be one of mine. Hot reload. Hot reload, there we go. Remove. Yes. Okay, so this is running now. Nope, still has more to do. I'm removing hot reload because I've been running into errors where hot reload thinks everything is fine, says everything is fine, but it didn't recompile a change that just happened. And then I was seeing proof from it. All right, so now I've got distance in there. Let's play the game. I also want to make sure that it does a recompile the next time I change code. Okay. What is all this? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. This is new. Where's it complaining about it? Serialized object, create context or bindings, binding.bind object, binding implementation. What is this for? I think this might be a failure based on removing rider. Is that the case? Clear. Okay, let's hit enter. All right. Now I should get a false. Or where is this? I've got a distance of 39. Okay. Distance of 39. So it says I'm 39 meters away. I am not 39 meters away. Let's get closer. The car is 3 meters wide. So 3 meters wide. Right now, what am I? Like there. I'm about 2 car lengths away. So that should be like 6 meters. Enter. It says I'm 11. Okay. I definitely have an issue there. That means that I'm already looking at the squared distance, or I'm not getting the square root for the distance. All right, let's go into the code. This one, car action, and now down to the bottom of car action, we have mechanic menu. We're getting the distance. This gives us the output distance, F12. Okay, find distance, find closest. Find closest gives us the distance. So in this one, we get the square root of distance squared. Am I actually using... Why does it feel like this is just completely wrong? What am I comparing this to? Closest position. So what is the maybe I'm passing in the wrong position? It shouldn't be. It did change. It got closer when the car got closer. So let's save that. Return to Unity. I'm expecting it to compile. It's reloading domain. And I should get much bigger numbers out of this. So that did take a moment longer. What is this? Object reference, map view. What are you complaining about? Wait. Oh, it's still running. Okay. Play. Now, in this one, I'm using static locator systems, and I don't have the system actually set up to recover properly inside of this. Okay, so enter. Now, what is the distance it said? It said that I am 1,500 meters away. What? 154 meters away. 68 meters away. No. Okay. So definitely square root. Oh yeah, that obviously that would have done that. Okay, but mechanic shop system. This was handing off the square root, so square magnitude is not giving me the information I was expecting. We are comparing the position it gives me with the shop transform position. Where is the shop's root object? Let's go into here. Hey, no, get away from there. Thank you. Scene. And I want this off of the pivot. Okay, so pivot and selecting the root object. Where? Okay, that's down there. All right. Okay, we're going to put a cube in place here. I just need to test this. So we're going to go to the scene and right click, game object, 3D cube. With that item selected, Control Shift F so it lands on the camera. Now let's set its width. I'm just going to double check. I need to measure this. So the scale along the blue side, that's Z, that will be 10. Yeah, well, whatever. I'll just rotate that. Oh, 0. There. So rotation set. Okay, I need to see that. So right around here, the middle of the car needs to be about there. So 10 meters is too short. But the distance that I'm getting from this, so if I go over to that car and I take the car, let's put it over here. That's should be about 10 meters or less. So enter, and what do I get? I need to give the traffic cars a parent. That's taking too many of these root objects. What did I get when I selected that one? Mechanic entrance. No, I need the car. And, oh, right there, car. Let's select that one. So the car listed its distance as 85 meters. So this mechanic shop find closest. Something is really wrong here. So we get the current SQ, which is the square magnitude. I'm just going to change this to distance because obviously something's wrong with this function because I should just be able to get the square root of it and get the distance that I'm expecting. So we're just going to say the distance. And over here, what do we have? We have distance, float max value. I do have an issue there. Find closest. It still needs to find the closest. It should always return something. Okay, so this one we're going to say distance equals float.max value. Yeah, we don't need to create that one. We already got the selected index. We're going to get rid of this one. So if current, now this is position minus shops.transform position. So what is the problem? Oh, that's right. I changed it, comma. There. So it's got the distance between those 2 points. I thought magnitude was distance. Wait a minute. Am I misunderstanding that? Because I've been using that in other places, and I've used that in a lot of my code. So C sharp unity difference between magnitude and distance. In Unity, calculating distance between spaces is a common task. AI behaviors, blah, blah, blah. Two primary methods for computing distance are distance and magnitude. Okay, so distance built in calculates the Euclidean distance between 2 points. Distance is 25% faster than magnitude. Okay, AB.magnitude is an alternative approach that manually subtracting one vector from the other to obtain the displacement vector by calculating its magnitude. It offers more granular control over the vector operations. Okay, so yeah, they basically do the same thing. And then if you are doing the square, then I could use the square magnitude, and that would take less math expense for each one. All right, whatever. We're just going to say distance equals this, and then that means I don't need to set the distance. It's already getting set. So there. Let's have the actual distance get used and see how that reacts inside of here. I need to stop the code. That's going to crash and break. Okay. Object references, that was at closing play. All right, that got the menu. Drop off point doesn't get set until I actually have something to drop off. Okay, inside of here, I still have these null ref exceptions happening, which just come from nowhere. Object version, serialization, bindings, panel, UI element panel. Showing a panel, and something is unhappy about the panels. Hopefully it'll go away after I restart, and it was just an issue with hot reload going away. Oh yeah, if I hit enter, my distance is 39 meters. That actually sounds more reasonable. Enter. Now I'm at 10 meters. That is more reasonable because it's from the center of the car to the corner of the door there. Enter. I am at 10.8 meters. So we're going to change the distance. So the action radius is now going to be 30. Okay, cancel. Save all that and go back into the game and play. After that, I think I need to restart Unity and to get rid of those errors from popping up. Okay, enter. And now if I hit enter again, I'm at 39 meters. So if I move a little bit closer, there. However, when I leave, I'm still in the stuck state. The game time froze. Where's my time system? So time over on the inspector. I don't have a time system. How is time working? Is it the pause system that I have in here? I don't have anything that seems to be showing what I'm expecting for time. Okay, how am I obtaining time in this one? Because I've got pause that I throw into here. What was I doing for that one? Was that entirely static? So over in this one, we get the, I need the UI. I need the menu, mechanic menu. So over in this one, we go to game time, F12. Game time is a mono behavior. It has to exist somewhere. We have pause. We're setting the time scale. But I'm only setting the timescale. I'm not actually using it here. Where does game time exist? If it gets the game time and it does this, how does it, where does this mono behavior exist? No asset usages. Yeah, I get it. It's all over the place, but what actually sets it up? Okay, let's go down. I'm expecting this one to exist somewhere. So let's find the actual script for it. Where's the script? Game time. And now I want to find all references to it. Import asset, find references in the scene. Nothing. Nothing uses it, and yet I can still pause the. That's probably it. Maybe I'm destroying it somehow. None of these destroy it. Let's go over to the menu, the mechanic menu, because this one was added. Game time, we tell it to continue. Where are we setting game time? Game time, does this one just create static functions? It does. So I just say game time dot. Technically, this doesn't need to exist. Got it. It doesn't need to exist anywhere. Is there any benefit to that? Well, I might be able to debug this, but then these are static functions. Even if they weren't static functions, the values inside of them are not being set as fields anywhere. So I would not be able to tell. Okay, so game time, pause, continue is paused. None of that stuff returns. Oh. Okay, what's next on here? Is pause. Yeah, the game time absolutely has to get fixed for this to work. But I need to see what's happening with it. I need to know what state it is. Okay, so inside of this one, I'm going to change these away from static. I'm using them as static right now. And I could continue to do that, but I am changing the state of the game. I should be holding on to that somewhere. And at this point, I am just wrapping a singleton with another singleton. So that doesn't give me much benefit. So in this case, I do want to set the value. So let's go with property. I'm going to create a property. Wait, private, public, private field, private float, uh, time scale equals 1. So the time scale equals 1 to begin with, which is what its default is. And in this case, we're going to serialize this so we can see the value. Next, I'm going to put a property in here. Put an underscore on this one. There. Now on this one, we're going to create a property. So we will say public game public float time scale get underscore time scale set private set Yeah. All right. Private set. Is there anything special about this one? And that one is underscore timescale equals value. Okay. So, oh, no. It does need to do more. So in that case, we're setting the value because we want to be able to record it and understand what's happening. Needs to go to here. And the other one that we're doing is we need to actually set the value. So time.timescale equals value. So both of these are getting set to it. Otherwise, we're returning it. We are returning our own state as opposed to this stuff. That seems fine. All right, so now instead of the time scale, we're going to set our time scale. So get rid of the center, get rid of the center, and get rid of the center. So we've got the public exposed functions to pause, continue, and see that it is paused. Now I need to make this accessible. So let's put in, I'll keep the property up at the top. In this one, we need public awake. No. Private void awake. I also should just simplify this and keep these specific functions in there and that property. All right, Control C. We're going to put an interface up here. Hey, does this have the ability to refactor this into an interface? Let's go just to the class. Alt Enter, and then do we have refactor? Refactor this. Can I create an interface? Extract interface. Okay, game time. And the items that I want is time scale, pause, continue, is paused. Okay. Oh, I like that. What was it? There was method extraction. Okay, so one of the reasons I didn't like Rider in the past was because it didn't have a way to extract things to I forgot the term for it. Refactor in a lot of different cases. However, it seems like it does. It's something I didn't see. I wasn't able to find before. And now I'm finding it and it's useful. I like the way it does it. All right, so let's resolve this. In the awake function, I need the locator to know about this. Locator dot set, and inside of the set function, we need to set game time, and that one is going to be this. There, that sets it. Now, anything that's going to be using it will need to access that. So I am going to have errors in my code when I go back here. Yay, errors. Okay, we have game time. This one needs to use a game time, so we have to find game time to begin with. In this case, we regularly use it, so let's use it. Start game. Yeah. All right. Public game time. Public game time. Time. All right. So now in this one, we're going to say, what is this one? Locator dot observe game time. T. Oh, GT. We'll do that one. Got two things it needs to do. One is we're going to pause it. Next one is time equals GT. And now this one is time. Excellent. So next, down here is supposed to be just time. Perfect. That one's solved. Back to the code. Over here, we're going to go to mechanic. This has game time as well. All right, this one is mechanic menu. Inside of here, I'm going to need references. We're going to load up again. Locator.set. So let's put these down here. This one is private What type do I need? I need game time. IGT time. Okay, now during this one, we are going to say locator dot observe IGT, and it needs GT, nope, GT there equals, and normally it's just going to be time equals GT because I don't pause it or set the time here. Oh, but I am executing hide UI right away, and hide UI is expecting, doesn't set the game time. Hide UI doesn't pause that, doesn't release the return the game time. Resume action does, but that's different. Got it. Resume action shouldn't be doing this. The hide UI is what should be restoring it. Hide UI and show UI. All right, good. That's the reasons why the mechanic menu was broken. Okay, so refactoring a part that I was going to, or was useful anyway, resolved this, or at least found out why the error was happening. Okay, locator.observe, we get the game time, we hide the UI. Now we can't hide the UI until we actually have this. So in this case, we need the iGame time, but this awake might run before that. So in that case, I'm going to take the observation, Control X, put that down here, Control V. And I also need this to do something else here. So we can't hide the UI until we have this. So X, there. Hide UI is now part of it. So once we get the time, then we can respond to it. Ooh, it'd be useful to have a function in here where I can observe for multiple things and then pass, and it waits until all of those things are available. But that puts more work onto the locator observe because normally it just puts an action to decide that you need this item, but it doesn't have anything for a collection. I suppose I could create a wait for that, an action, a separate list of actions for when you get this type. It doesn't execute it by default. It checks to see, do we have all of them? And if we do, then it'll use them. Okay, I like it. Okay, so time, GT, hide UI, whatever, but that's consideration for later. It's not what I'm working with now. Return to drive. I don't even have that functionality in here yet, but it does need to have hide UI. Okay, so now show UI, the private one, also needs to deal with game time. So time dot pause, and the hide UI needs to restore it. Time dot continue. Okay, that does it. Now I no longer need to tell associate game time with it because that should work together with the other item. All right. Oh, okay. Some message coming in from Reedsy. Nothing too important. Okay, so in this one, we hide the UI, we show the UI. So resume action and show UI. Those are the two that are affecting it. Hide UI over here also is triggered when we start the race. Okay, that's not necessary. Return to drive. I don't even, does anything use this? And what does it use it for? This is the mechanic menu. I'm in the mechanic menu and I have not replaced pieces of this yet. Okay, so that's to be done later. Right now, the code should be working, except for the, I still have bugs because I changed over the game time, the way that that gets used. All right, end race menu. So game time.pause, we were just accessing it normally before. Now, in this case, I do need to get this again. Locator.set, do we have any locator gets? No. Let's do it now. Private. Private IGT time equals Nothing yet. Okay, now at the bottom we have a hide UI. So let's put that one in there, and we're going to say public. No, we're going to say locator dot observe, and in the observation we're going to say IGT GT hide UI needs to be part of it, and we're going to say time equals GT. This dot time equals GT. All right, now we've got time in there. Let's find any of the references that are bad. So this one is just time. Time. Why are we doing a locator observe here? Expensive invocation. I don't care. It's minor. It's basically just doing a string lookup or a lookup by type. Hold 1 second. All right. So inside of here, and I dropped the mic when I was leaving. Let's come back. All right, race time, locator, observe. I don't care if that's expensive. This is a minor call with a user interaction, a direct user interaction. They can expect a minor time response from it. It's not like a driving interaction or a physics interaction. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so now we've got this stuff. I don't need anything to be there. Now, what else do I have waiting? Race start menu. We're using game time here as well. Let's fix that. So inside of this one, I now need a private IGT time there. Now, at the end, we are hiding the UI as well. So inside of this, I'll wrap that as well. Oh, let's just go grab the other one that I just used. Mechanic menu, this one, Control C, and go back over to race start menu, wrap it up there because it's the exact same data that's inside of it. Now, in this one, we hide the UI. Hide UI is supposed to deal with time pause. It does not. The show UI should also be doing this. So this one should have time.pause. When we do this one, the UI should become available, and that means time needs to be handled here. This also gives me a chance to fix this format of this one. Okay, so we set the time, the hide, the show UI now does that. This one now needs to do time dot hide UI is continue. Okay, where else am I setting that? Yeah, in this one, I'm setting it here. No, we call it in the hide and show UI. Perfect. Okay, that one's dealt with. Show UI. No, we call show the private show UI, which deals with that and deals with time as well. They're tied together and should not be removed. If they are, then we will make a special case in that circumstance. But for right now, it's standard that those are together. What else am I missing it with? Okay, car race has a game time. Car race. Car race does. It should be the UI system that's managing it. That is. Where are we actually doing this with the time pause? So in this one, we end the race. That's not it. Okay, start race. We tell it to show the timer, start the timer. Game time should continue. In this case, we get to the start race because we exited the game menu, right? What calls this one? That goes to race start menu, which hides the UI. The hide UI should be returning the timer state. So time.continue. We don't need a game time continue in here. That already happens. Excellent. Does this have any other use of time? No, I don't think so. Okay, save all that stuff, return to Unity. Pause menu. The pause menu obviously needs it, so yeah, let's put this in here. Is paused. Does this need an is pause state? That's not it. It's show UI. The UI is shown. So in this case, we're just going to say private bool. Because if we want to know if the game is paused, then we can check that state. Oh no, other things are checking the is pause state to see if that one is in use. No, the game is paused. Nothing else. No other action. Actions will check to see if the game is paused before executing them. Okay, so in this one is paused. I think we can get rid of that one. Let's go to this and see what are the usages. It gets used in. Where did this just take me to? Was it for here? No. Pause menu. Find me the use. On click action. If we are paused, then do nothing. So on click action. This can also happen from the time check. So car action, did we have time in here? No, we have the pause state. That's technically not what I care for. Is that the only reason I am using pause? We gather pause. We're using it here. That's the only thing I use it for. I'm going to use game time for this one instead because pause is just another source using pause. All right, so in this case, that is an improper use. So public IGT time there. Now inside of this one, we're going to say IGT there. And now in this one, we're going to say this is I.time, this dot time equals IP. All right. Now inside of here, this dot paused. This one is now going to be time. So if this dot time dot is paused, return. Excellent. That deals with the same thing, cuts out the need of that one on there. So now the pause menu no longer needs to be reporting this information. So inside of here, we had iPause. We create the instance of iPause in the locator. I'm going to get rid of that because this one no longer needs to use it. Okay. So paused, we don't need the interface on here. Nothing should be interacting with this one. Okay. The only thing that would be is the game object, which shouldn't be dealing with an interface anyway. All right. Excellent. So now we don't need to do this one. We only need to define whether or not it is visible. Public bool is UI open equals true to begin with, I guess. Okay, so this one I'm not using the hide and show UI. Let's put it in there. All right. Public private void hide UI. Private void show UI. The rest of my code is using this pattern, so I'm going to follow the same pattern here. Let's go ahead and copy the rest of the stuff in here. Do I have actions that I'm reacting to? The pause action I'm reacting to. I don't want it to react to. I do want it to react to that all the time. So that's not going to get canceled or deactivated. No, I don't want it to because that could pause me while I'm in the middle of interacting with another menu. Does that matter? It'll just check the time. I'll have it check to see if we are currently in the pause state when it got fired, because if we are, then we are already paused. So if the UI is not open and we are paused, that means something else has paused it. So we don't need to escape a menu, not with the pause button anyway, not to bring it to the pause UI. Okay, I don't need that one. Don't need that one. I don't need the debug logs that are inside of here. This one did have a weird interaction. Okay, so this will take this, Control X, and this goes into hide UI. So we're going to call hide UI. Now, we don't know if that one's actually there, so I need to get it in the start or in the awake function. Control C, and I'm going to wrap this here, Control V. Time equals GT, and I do need time. I'm in the pause menu. I absolutely need to know time. Public, no. Private for that one, and next is going to be private IGT time. Okay, so now we need the observable. We gather the time. Good. Now in this one, we're hiding the UI, so now we can say time dot continue. Good. Time continues. In the show UI, we're basically going to do the exact same stuff. Control C and V. So in this one, we're setting everything to true. We are making it visible. And for this one, we are going to pause the game. So pause. Okay, now pause action. The first thing is we want to make sure that we actually have the game paused. So something else is pausing the game. In this case, we want to check to see, is the game paused, which is being run by time. Second, is the UI open? So is UI open? So if the UI is not open, so it's closed right now, so the pause action should be trying to open it, then time dot is paused, time dot is paused, and time dot paused, then something else has a UI open. All right, that's my effective state for context for determining if a UI is open, if things are paused. All right, inside of this one, if that's the case, then we don't do anything with the pause action. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't put the UI over it, because then both UIs can be interacting with buttons at that point. Okay, now I don't need to know this information. So this part is we need to detect if the UI is open, because we could still have UI open or closed and react to the pause button. If it is open, and we hit the pause button, that cancels the pause. So escape escapes the escape. In this one, is open UI. That's exactly the same thing it was, is open UI. And over here is open UI. Now, we don't need to mess with game time here or these things. Instead, the whole Boolean value should be inside of that as well. So in this case, time.pause is open UI equals true. That state gets set here as well. So same thing equals false. We are hiding the UI, so the UI is not open. Okay, so that means everything in this is now reduced to a single function call. So if the UI is open, then hide the UI. And if the UI is closed, then show the UI. Done. Oh, what's this? I got a missing something. Okay. Now, do I have other errors? It does appear that it's compiling, which it would get if there were a syntax error, then it should have caught that really, really quickly. Clear. Save the scene and let's play. I just made structural changes to the code. I need to make sure things worked. I particularly worked with time, menu visibility, pause. So all things started at the same time. Lots of object references are failing. Okay. Let's start over and see, to begin with, did we get an error before I pressed any buttons? Because yeah, I definitely broke the state here. Okay, nothing happened. Let's just click start. Okay, object instance not set to an instance. What is it? There is no game time. That's got to be it. Time. No game time. I changed the way that works. Time. Cancel. Control SS. That would definitely break it. If, oh, that's an interesting point of the observable system. If something wasn't there, like if nothing ever created it, like it rewards lazy loading. So if the system never had the variable show up, it wouldn't complain about it. The other systems just simply wouldn't execute. And in this case, all of the menus depend on on the game time becoming available to it to trigger their hide, because they need to know about the time to allow time to continue. Okay. In this one, enter. Excellent. Now I go over to here, enter. Good. Okay, now, okay, we got a couple trucks over this way. There's one coming up just to the right. There we go. Hi, how you doing? Don't mind me. I'm totally not trying to steal your freight. No, come on. I am. I'm just not succeeding at it. There, come on. There, I got it. Now return to the ground. Enter. Take that piece. Ah, there. There we go. And let's just go that way. Oh, enter. Pulling it at the door. There. Okay, so that worked. I still have a glitch here. I also had a distance issue happening on the other one as well. Okay, which is probably the issue I'm running into here. Start race UI is open. That one doesn't matter. Oh, escape. Back to here. Escape. Yeah, escape, escape, escape. Escape. I can't drive. Now I can. Let's make sure that all the other cars are paused as well, because that should be freezing game time. So let's go over to the car activity. All right, escape. Definitely paused. Okay, that worked. Now, which things did I just complete? I think I just completed another one of the task options. Pressing action here raises the mechanic UI when entering its saves. That's the only thing I didn't do. So first off, control dot, check. So pressing the action here raises the mechanic UI. The mechanic UI now shows up. And going through that exercise solved some other issues I didn't even realize I was having. Okay, so now I need to get this to save. Save the project. Everything is stopped. Now down here, terminal. Git dot, and then git commit -m, and the message is time. Game time is now not static. In locator was a bug in use state, in usage, fixed, and the mechanic UI appears when pressing action close to mechanic. All right, and then git push. Okay, I'm going to move that off to the side. So I'll move it there. Okay, what else do I have? What else do I have? The next one is I need to save the game because of the fact that we entered here. All right, that is now committed. Good, yay. Let's go back to here. I need to save when we enter the mechanic UI. And then anytime I make a change in the mechanic UI, I should be saving again. So let's go over to here. Where is this code? So in the mechanic, where is this? Mechanic menu, start race. That nothing calls this anymore, does it? What calls this? No, that needs to go away. Okay. Hide UI needs to be there. Okay. Show UI needs to be there. Resume action doesn't need to be there. Nothing should be using this right now. Show UI. Control KC. Control KC. Those ones are not doing anything in there anymore. I don't know that I'm going to need them anymore. Input action, cancel action. I will need those. Okay. What's going on here? Okay. No important message. Over there, same thing. Back on this one. All right, leave that one. Okay, so what have we got? Awake. Not awake. Where is this? We're in the pause menu, mechanics menu. So inside of the mechanics menu, when we actually get close enough, so we need to detect if we are close enough. What calls this show UI? That happens here. Show UI happens on this function. Something else is triggering it. In that one, it is the mechanic shop, the car action, mechanic action. Show UI and hide UI. Maybe that should just be it. So when the show UI happens or the hide UI, we should save state. All right, I'm just going to put a save. I need a save load in here. So private, I save freight save loader. What is this one? Freight save loader. Oh, that's for dealing with. Okay, got it. 3 usages. What actually uses this? Find usage. Save load system. Okay, right now the save load system doesn't have any external interfaces, nothing to control it from the actual game. Right now it happens because I click a menu. This is the first point where I'm actually able to use it. Okay, this is great. Oh, technically the start game should be using it as well. Okay, so I can fix both of those right now. All right, in this one, let's put an interface here. So public interface. Um, I save. I save, sure. Good enough. This is the primary save system. Save system. I save system. Now, it's already public, so we're going to say load. You know what? Refactor. Refactor this into. Wait. I want to refactor it into an interface. Refactor. Extract interface. Okay, got it. I save load system. We're just going to call it. Yeah, sure. I guess that works. ISLS. And inside of here, we need create, save, and load. Is that what I need? Next. Okay, so is valid name. That also needs to be out there. So we'll just attach that. Control C. And inside of this, Here's the badge of copying and pasting from Stack Overflow. I love that it does that. But the command, like the amount of information used from here is so minimal then so basic. Cool. Anyway, iPlayer. Okay, now inside of here, we've got the save load system. Let's just try using it. So load, we need to know the name of what we're loading, and it's going to be default, which is all we're using for now. That's fine. We need the save. So that one is run on start. Quitting the game tells it to save. That should go away. Control KC. That one's not true. Also, on awake, no, we're not interfacing. Where's this one? We are interfacing with the on play mode change. So, no. The save state in the game is currently based on the last time you went to the mechanic. It's like your where you last changed your car. I suppose I could also do it when you drop off something at the depot or complete a race. We'll see. For now, this is the bare minimum. You start the game and it will load the game from where you last left off, and you end the game. Okay, whatever. Okay, so load. We load, it needs name, but it can use the default. Save game, so we create a save game. What is this one? We don't need that one either. Cool. All right. So we create a save game. Next, what do we do here? Create save game. We call the save game where we tell it to save. That reports where we save it to. That's fine. And we've got the menu items that are in there. This works. Okay, I think that's everything I need. Now, to execute the system inside of the main menu, I freight save loader. This is not what I wanted. I save load system, save load. Okay, now inside of the save load system, we're going to put another locator observe in here. Locator.observe. I'm just going to have it on start because it's when I make changes it needs to save, not when it exits. Okay, so locator.observe. And inside of this one, we need the ISLS, save load system, and that's going to be save load SL. And this one needs to be SL save load equals SL. There. So now we get that. So in addition to this, we need the show UI. When we show the UI for the mechanic, we need to call that it saves it. So where's the one? This one is different though. It shouldn't be, it's not something kind of standard intrinsic to the showing and hiding of the UI, but the command where we publicly call this. This one needs to do it. So we're going to say this dot save load dot save this dot save load dot create save game. Now save load that's not a struct, that's a class. So in that case, I could just say if it's null, then we'll automatically go get the one that we need. So let's go make a quick change to this, F12. Inside of here, we have save game. We're just going to say default is to equal null. Okay, perfect. And now for the command where we actually use it, save game equals null. And finally, we're going to do a check here. If game equals null, then game equals create game, create save game. Did it need any piece of information there? No, just a semicolon at the end. Okay, now go back to the base system, or the one where I was making these modifications, and now I no longer need to tell it to construct that. I can just tell it to save, and I am done. Okay, additionally, over on the start menu, I should be able to put in the start menu and tell it to load the last state. Okay. And I'll just keep going off of the save game now. And if I don't like the save game and want to restart, then it will make me put the effort into clearing out the game state. Okay, save load system. No, I need start. Where's start? Start. Down. Nothing. Okay, start menu shows up at the beginning, so it's already visible. Given that, I need to set this up so that when we start the UI, when we hide the UI, that's because the game is continuing. So what actually triggers this? This one is open UI. We've pressed the pause action. Wait, what else triggers the pause action? Am I responding to the pause input? This should be the action input. I think that's what I used, but public input, input action reference. And then we're just going to say input action. All right, so now inside of this one, I do need to do the same thing. So pause input action dot action dot performed plus equals, and we need the callback. Do I want to clear this one out after I'm done? Because I don't need this to do anything else afterwards. So in that case, I do want a pause function that is going to call. So that's not, it's just input action. Input action. But this does suggest that my pause button also is being triggered by enter. So I am a little bit confused by what's going on because this state was working before. Okay, I'm going to leave well enough alone. And at this point where we decide to hide the UI, there's nothing that should be triggering a show UI in this. All right, in this case, the hide UI, we are also going to say save game. I need the save game in this. Oh, I can just do observable. Observable locator dot observe, because this is a one-time execution. For now, it's a one-time execution. I have no plan to bring back that start menu for now. All right, and in this one, we are looking for the SLS equals bracket, take that one. And now what do we have? We have the SLS. I need to pass that into, I need to call it SLS dot load. Okay, so this triggers a load, which the system should already be loaded by the time the user can actually do that. So, or the iSave load system will be available, but which means this will execute the moment that we're calling this function. All right, that should be it. Control Shift S to save everything. Back to Unity. Anything in here it needs to do? Seems happy, so let's play. Okay. Start is, I thought I had a save game. There's no bugs, no errors. Okay. That's reasonable. Let's go catch up with that freight. Come on. Right. Uh, Good. Now enter. I've got freight. Oh yeah, let's just drop a freight cube right here. Oh, that thought it was close enough. All right, well, we got freight that's stuck there. So now let's go into the mechanic shop and drive. Technically, I should have a save game state now. Uh, this has a reference error. What is the reference error? Save load system. Mechanic UI line 98. Save load system. In other words, does it not think it's available? Oh, mechanic line 98. Okay, mechanic line 98, that's right here. This dot save load on the show UI function. Save load. Save load gets set to here during the awake function. So that one should be located immediately unless the save load system isn't getting set. So inside of here, the save load system, there it is. During the awake function, it depends on a static instance. No. Okay. Yeah, we are getting rid of that. Now, in this case, we are going to say locator dot set set ISLS this. Okay. We now have it available in the locator service. Let's go back to the game. So the other state, it never reloaded the existing state and it couldn't save it because it was there. It was just using the wrong system for singleton access. Play. Oh, bugs. What's the bug? Save load system.instance. No, this is going to change. We're going to do an observable on this one. And I don't need all the extra stuff anymore. So this is just to save the game. We are going to say observable. No, locator. Locator dot observe ISLS dot dot. This one would be SLS. And this one now needs to save the game. SLS.save. That should be it. Yeah, I can optionally put something in there, but I don't need to. All right, now the other one is effectively going to load it. So it's the same thing, but we're calling load. Load assumes default, so it's finding the correct object. Save it, load it. Anything else I need to correct? Save load system was missing the item. Value is assigned but never used. Wait. Is OpenUI is assigned but never used? How do I actually determine that the UI is open? Do I just... Oh, I never have anything that checks it. Okay. On this one, the race menu shouldn't be responding to it unless, oh, I've got the events inside of here, so I technically don't need a state to check that anymore. Okay. I accept. Show UI. Show UI should be taking care of the time. So time dot, if we're showing the UI, then it's time dot pause. And if we are hiding the UI, it is time dot continue. That means that any other use of this, we should not be paying attention to time, to setting the time. Like there. That should fix that. Okay, so save load system should theoretically be functional now. Let's find out if this is the case. Okay, game state changed, save load is contained there. Play. Didn't I just click play? I guess it didn't register. Or I missed the button somehow. Okay. Everything started out the same, 0 credits. I hit enter. And now I'm starting over here. Nothing happened again still. I don't see freight stuck over there. Ow, what the? All right, let's go grab some freight. Oh, just by entering the mechanic, it should try to save where I am. Let's just have it face the mechanic. Okay, saved. And now I should be able to continue driving. I cannot. Okay, so theoretically, I just saved it. Let's stop the game, restart the game, and see if that brings me back. But I still have a bug where once I'm in there, it doesn't let me get back out. So start. Save load is not working. It didn't actually save. I should have been started facing this object. So right now, if I go to Vigilante load game, that the start never did it. Okay, why not on the start? So the start menu, got it. And get rid of a bunch of other things. And start bringing them up back when I need to. Okay. At the start of the game, the menu UI, we just disable the whole object. Well, whatever, I'll have to correct that one later. But right now, inside of this one, we perform the action input, we set the game. This is the managing the UI, so we got that one. Awake, start. Start game just shows it. Okay. What is this one doing? The pause action of the pause menu. But the start menu. The pause menu. I added this to the pause menu? No. Oh, that was a mistake. Okay, Control X. Yeah, no wonder it wasn't working. I never told it to work. I put this in the complete wrong spot. Save. Okay. When that function runs, now normally I would tell the function to run, it would just make sure the time continued and did this stuff. In this case, I no longer want that to happen because now every time that I press the action button, it will reload my game state. Let's test that because maybe something's canceling this out and I'm not expecting it to, but stop. First off, pressing enter at the beginning, loading the game, that should actually point me at the mechanic. So now let's hit play. Enter. There we go. We started loading. Now, if I point this way and press enter, it didn't. It actually did stop. It was detecting the fact that that changed somehow. And I'm not really sure how. Start race. Okay. Now, enter. Let's go back over to the mechanic and save. So it does make sense that at the end of the race, it should save too. Because I just earned credit and I have that. If I have that taken away because the game didn't save, still freezes here and I don't know why. I'll have to look at that. But anyway, stop. It did theoretically save the game. Oh, I had 100 credits now. So when I reload, I should have 100 credits. Let's test that. Start. 100 credits. Okay. Excellent. All right. Stop. Okay, I do want to save where I am right now before I fix it any further because I might screw up the state a little bit. So git add dot and then git commit -m. And inside of here, what is it that I want to set this to? Saves when mechanic screen, when entering mechanic screen loads at game start. We have a default game state now. Freezes when trying to leave mechanic screen. All right, now get push. Let's move this over. Head back to the actual script. It freezes when it enters the mechanic screen. So when entering, it saves. I'm going to add on to this. So let's keep dot. Inside of this one, make game start load. Okay, that's it. I think this is actually a good place to finish this one. Control S. No. Yeah, I think this one's done. We move that one down to done because the rest of it is inside of using the mechanic. Now, the mechanic I have set to only 4 hours, and this one I think might be a little bit more of a pain, primarily because I'm diving more into the UI at this point, and I'm not even entirely sure how I'm going to set and change some of the fields. All right. But getting out of the mechanic is certainly going to be something I'll have to fix into there. So we can get into the mechanic. Now we need to get back out. And we need to be able to save changes we need to identify. So the credits, the way the game is designed is that as we get credits for things, either by completing races or by collecting the freight, then we can then sell that, or we use the credits we get from that to then buy upgrades for the car. Now I'm going to put 0 limitations on it. So when you want to buy an upgrade for the car, you're basically saying like, buy more down pressure. So you buy more down pressure, and that pushes you even more intensely towards the ground. You can also purchase more up pressure. And basically, what that means is if you have a lower amount of pressure in both directions, then the car has more room to kind of like wobble up and down. And if you tighten that up, so it's much stronger down and much stronger up, then you start riding closer to the ground. Or not closer to the ground, but you have a higher force. And so as you change surfaces, you correct to that faster. But also, the upward pressure on it pushes you farther away from the ground naturally, which actually makes you slower. So as you increase the speed, there's going to be a bigger speed difference, but then you can tune it. And basically, what I want is that whatever values you purchase, you're purchasing the ability to tune it even farther in the mechanic setting. So you can tune it. You go into the mechanic, and at any time you can tune the settings so that your gravity has different pressures, your steering can be faster or slower. And I want to let it increase those numbers so it gets dramatically big, even to the point of I have no steering left, that I can make it negative. No, I'm not going negative. I just keep it down to like zero point 0.1 or something. But you can make incredibly slow steering if you want. I guess I'll start with that. Not start with it, but the option is there. All right, but going faster, there will be the point where it goes so fast that it's just like you tap it lightly and it just spun around 3 times, which would be useless. Okay, so now with this one, we are actively working on this one. So UI can resume at any point. Okay, that's the first task of this one, is to actually clear up the bug that's in the previous one. Cool. Let's go do that. Where are we? Yeah, we're using the mechanic now, so let's go fix the code. That one is over in the start menu. No, it's not in the start menu or the pause menu. This is in the race mechanic menu. Okay, we're in the mechanic menu. The save load system. Oh, we're just marking to save it. Okay. Now, start race. We got some stuff to clean up in here. Let's just get rid of all these extra things. Show hide, that one should exist. Start race makes 0 sense. Return to drive. Yeah, that one makes sense to have in there. Inside of here, show UI. So return to drive, that one should be hide UI. Then that should unpause. That should allow time to continue. Yeah, drive button, return to click. So we didn't have anything in there that it was doing. Okay, that should actually fix the first one. And it should allow, yeah, so let's go back in, let's test it. Still compiling. There we go, Control P. I should be able to get into the mechanic and back out. And also when I do, that should resave the state. And this will be one of the first times I can really test that. So we're pointed at it, sort of. Now let's point away, just a little farther away, enter. So now we're in it. And remember, when I first started this one, I still am not getting this. It responded to click. It doesn't have the input action. Okay, so I'm inside of here. Let's stop the game and start it again. And let's see when I start if I am pointing away, which is where I exited the game, or if I am pointing at it, which is before I went into the mechanic. So let's go start, because I'm expecting it to point away now. If it actually loaded the game, it should turn me away, point me away. Perfect. That's exactly what I needed. Okay, so now the actual UI for this one. We are not reacting to it at all the times that we should. So inside of here, we have the action input and cancel action input. Inside of these, we do need to register this. So action input will for now deal with return to drive. So this one is action return to drive. That one, let's go Alt Enter, generate code. Can I just get a function? No. Why can you not react to it in this case? If I put a different name on it, does that make you happy? Alt Enter. Yes, create the method. Thank you. So I put a letter on it and suddenly I get this function. Why didn't it give me this function when I already had the function there? It just needed a different overload. It is a slightly different mentality, but that has an important item in there too. So now this one goes to return to drive. Okay, now that one has an item there. We're going to take this and drag it up to here. Tab, tab, get rid of that, get rid of that. Return to drive. Why is... What? Oh, got it. That was why. All right, inside of here, I didn't want it to generate this, but I do need that information. Control C, and we're just going to put that there as object. I don't care. We're not going to use it. And the response value is this is a void. That takes care of the state that I wanted. Okay. So this should fix the return state. Oh, no. When we hide the UI, we need to get rid of its interaction with that, so it no longer bothers with it. So that one is action. During the action, enter. We're no longer going to go to return to drive. That only is when this UI is active. So once we hide the UI, we should no longer be registered to that event. Okay, return to drive there. Now, return to the game. I should be able to clear away the original task on this. All right, let's see. Control P. Start. Okay, we're back in the game. Now going back into here, side view, enter, drive, escape. Yay, okay, enter, and then escape. Didn't do anything. Escape would have been nice. Okay, but whatever. Escape is, that's minor. I do need to be able to control the menus. So this one, let's go mark that as saved and complete. So that one is check. Okay, next. Show up-down list of editable options like gravity force, engine power, speed multiplier, conditioning, etc. Do I have any of them that will just turn on the feature at all? That could be something that I do. Okay. Nope. However, that one UI can resume at any point. Yay, I can just copy this, Control C. Now let's go back to here, and I need to say get add dot and get commit dash m. UI can resume at any point, enter, and get push. Cool. Now, while that's running, the next thing that I need to do is I need to create that list of potential things that I can manipulate. I just need to get anything in there to start with. Well, let's take a look. What else do I have called out in here? Up, down arrow will select things. I don't need that in there yet, so I just need to get the list to show up at first. So I do need a scrollable list, so it needs to take some space because there should be a variety of options that show up in here. I should have a visual. It shouldn't just be like text. Each one of these should have a little icon or picture that kind of shows what the effect of it is. So, downward force, gravitational force should show the car with like an arrow pointing back down. Engine power should have uh, a show of like the car or the front of the car with up arrows pointing to the side, indicating that pressure is coming back this way. Okay, so I do need pictures. Now, maybe with the pictures in place, that means that I need some other way to display this. So it's not just about, it's not just like a drop down list and I'm scrolling through that list, but maybe I've got a few visual elements that I can then interact with. Will I have that much inside of here? I don't think so. Maybe I don't need a scrollable list at all. Okay, but I do need to be able to select the different item by moving around. All right, so let's get a UI that's going to show several items. I can modify how this shows up later. If I get too many of them to begin with, I'll just have several of them show up across. Okay, where is the UI? Let's go into the UI builder. Here's the drive, and then effectively this is where I would be placing it. Actually, now's a good time to take a break from this. Go get some lunch. All right, I will talk to everyone later. See you.